When I moved to the West Coast, my father, a street-smart storyteller who read only one book, the biography of JFK, said, "Don't trust anyone." He trusted the birds, perched in the backyard feeder, the red-throated above the grass that gleamed with our weeping. He trusted his camera to capture nightjar, thrush, swallow, refrigerated grasshopper, a perfect still life until it warmed. His mother came from Ireland on a boat, 12, motherless, not even a bird to trust, erasing her name in the frozen cave of her heart. Now, as the aperture of morning expands over California, my father is a ghost in my camera lens, collecting variations of light. My eyelid is a shutter that opens to receive the day, so beautiful it must be a lie. We got a lot of people here to read, so I'll just read that one. Sharon Venezia, wonderful poet. So Sharon actually called, and she had lost her voice. She sounded like Tallulah Bankhead this morning. And so I said, well, I have nothing to do. My husband's in Las Vegas with a bunch of his buddies, and I'm happy to be here, so thank you.
Yeah, sure.
I thought what I'd do is start with some newer work. My new book is called Night School, and it's sort of being shot at the moment. So I'm going to read a few. How long? About 15 minutes?
15,
I
16,
tend
17.
not to read too long, but I have to say the poems I've heard so far today. Russell, you should go back to Florida to continue writing this piece, because obviously those thunderstorms did something that was so gorgeous. Everything I've heard today I have loved. It's amazing. I'll start out with, who is this? My body grows older than I am. The slouch socks I wore today have left a ring of bruises on my ankles, and my hands drop and break things. I have grown out my gray, and I forget to brush it. I have not been in the middle of my life for 20 years. My smile will soon be on display in the Museum of Obsolete Cartoon Characters. I've stopped believing in the saving grace of new shoes. I have seen Greece, and it is far away. One day I will call home a blue room with a single window, a single bed, and a TV table cluttered with yellow bottles and white pills. At the grocery store, Susan, the checker with the latex gloves, smiles when I bring my own body bag. There's a woman in this poetry group. I do a poetry group with actually twice a month, with people that are in their 80s and some are in their 90s, and I don't dumb anything down. And there were two women in particular who both passed on, who were really extraordinary poets. And one of them, Ruthie, was pretty deep into dementia, but she'd go in and out of it. And as she sort of was weaving in and out of reality in class, she would come up with these sort of remarkable phrases. We always do a group poem, and I've actually put a book together of the poems that we did 2 and 3 years ago. So this poem is about Ruthie, and it's called Ruthie Who Told Artist Wayne Thiebaud She Didn't Like His Pies. At 94, I can throw a pie. I'm sorry, I'm gonna start over. At 94, I can throw a poem in your face like a pie. I riff on the joy of bad manners. I used to run a charm school, elocution, proper deportment, cotillion, how to fold a dinner napkin, where to place the salad fork, write thank you notes always on blue bordered cream notes, wear white gloves with a pink suit when going into San Francisco for luncheon at Blum's. And all the while I preached manners, I ran bare-assed through the Cambria pines. I smoked junk. I danced like a witch under the full moon, so manicured it was unable to turn away or blink. I danced like a barbarian pussycat. Charm school smooths the cuticles in a ragged world. But the only chapter missing from our textbook, how to grow old with grace. How to crap neatly into your diaper and not shriek when everyone watches Top Hat for the 1100th time. Slurp your soup when your arm refuses to rise and your eyes sew themselves shut. Not to fall hopelessly in love with Fred Astaire or one of the 3 widowers in the old age home for the adorable, surrounded by a harem of Humpty Dumpty love goddesses, their red, scaly legs. Sorry. Stuffed like crab meat into support hose. The mind curtsies and bows and devours itself raw. When the retina detaches, metaphors arrive like floaters, like a poem tucked inside a fat letter, the only letter to be delivered in 10 years, a 3-page declaration of love signed by a man named Stuart, of whom I have absolutely no memory. A piece from my book, Unbuckled, came out in 2011. I had a lot of fun with this book. And you brought up something I think which is really important, which is poetry, any sort of writing, any sort of good art really should be scary. It should scare the bejesus out of not only the person on the receiving end, but I think the artist as well. If you're working on something and it makes you very nervous, that's a good sign.
Yes,
You're doing the work. It's not easy to get to that point. Most pieces we do don't scare
It's too
us.
safe.
But I had a couple pieces in this book that were probably the most uncomfortable pieces I've written. And one of them is about my late mother. And at the book launch, she was very elderly, and she was about 3 feet away from me in her wheelchair with her oxygen, and just so proud that her little girl was up there reading her book of poems, and I kept skipping lines because I thought she can't hear this, but she wasn't hearing them anyway, it was okay. She was just having a great day. So I will read a poem, it's called Put Me Away, and as I said to everyone at the book launch party, my mother didn't bake cookies, but she certainly made life interesting. Put me away. Put me away in one of those places. Do what you are going to do. You have taken me apart like a Mengele experiment. I am deboned, but I am not declawed. From the beginning, you emptied my life. Now you empty my house, one chair, one table, one tooth at a time. You take everything. Gold rings, the shoemaker, France. My childhood was gassed, but not my body. What can you stupid American, ever know of such things? You are the same shit as the Germans. You are the Zyklon B. I thought I escaped. On my oxygen leash, you make me your dog. You have always treated me like a dog. Now you give me no choice like a dog about where I am going to die. I gave birth to you, but what I wanted was a mirror. What I wanted was the roller skating girl I was when I was taken away from me. I will tell them that the blood in the cord that bound us dried black as the milk I refused you was white. I will tell them I gained only 13 pounds with you. I barely gave birth to you at all.